Hello there and welcome to iAtZine's Let's Review Race the Sun. I've given this a few goes through, I've given it a few runs to see how it's gone. I've reset it to make sure that you get to see from the very beginning, and I'm going to walk you through how it runs, what it's like, what it's about, and you can judge for yourself what you think of it. Basically, it's a surface racing game, very akin to some of the sort of games that you would have got on some of the very early sort of consoles, so C64, Amiga, those kind of things. And they did it at the time because it's very easy to replicate with sort of sprite graphics. But now they've done it with absolutely beautiful graphics, so let's give this a whirl, shall we? The basic main aim is steer left and right and try not to crash into things. We are this craft here, so as it says, left or right to steer. Picking up these blue triangles to gain a multiplier. At the moment we're just gaining points, but maybe we have to re-unlock the multipliers. Well, no matter. As you can see, it's a very fluid control. To watch, it looks overly simple, but I think the key thing they've done. Ooh, we are solar powered, so you have to be careful if you go into the shade. The key thing they've managed to achieve is such a fluid sense of motion and control. You do feel like you're flying a ground effects craft across the desert. Like this guy is the bonus guy. I can never, without the magnet, actually pick up any of those things. They're very, very difficult. We do unlock a magnet in a minute though that will give us... Right now, trying to stay out of the shadows. As you can see, we don't want to deplete our energy store, which gives you such an interesting mechanic. You're trying to stay in the sun while it's setting and race towards it. Ooh, clipped a wing, but we're not dead yet. It does look like we've run out of sunlight. That's a shame, but that is what happens. I'm actually surprised. Our first go, we unlocked a mission. We beat level 1, so... Oh no, we haven't beaten level 1. Right. Try again. And as you progress, you unlock things. Like I said, it's a lot of fun. It is very simplistic though. I wouldn't want to have paid too much money for it. Luckily, it's part of the Humble Bundle at the moment, so for about £9 you get a selection of games, and I think this sort of is worth its share of that £9. If that makes sense. I wouldn't want to pay £9 for this on its own. But then that's not what they're asking at the moment. It is very simplistic, but it is a lot of fun. I don't doubt that it's a lot like a mobile game. If this had tilt controls, you'd know it was a mobile game. Oh, what a shame. Well, that is the inevitable. These are your tasks. Complete them to upgrade yourself and unlock new abilities. We hope you enjoy the race against the inevitable. Well, as they say, it is inevitable. So I've unlocked level 2. Touch this to momentarily reverse time and extend the fading daylight. It's more like a speed boost, really. It brings the sun over the horizon because it makes you move a lot faster, it would seem. Knowledge. You are solar powered. Stay in the light to maintain your pace. Shadows will slow you down. Yep. We pretty much already assumed that. Right, clear 2 regions with no collisions in 1 round. So these things unlock more complexity into the game. It doesn't take a lot, and although it looks like it's the same course every time, at the moment that's because I'm doing it all on one day. One of the tooltips says that it changes every day. There's one of those speed boosts. So the level layout is new every day. I'm not quite sure how they've managed that, considering, I mean, even in procedurally generated, you know, fair enough. But the game does seem very clever in teaching you how to play it, so showing you those shadows early on, but not until you've grasp control of the craft. Oop, made the exact same mistake I made last time. Oh well, inevitable. Collect 10 tries in one region. So let's keep going. I didn't actually read that. Probably should have done. Oh well. Now if you go hard enough in one direction, you can then steer in the other direction and do a flip. Sometimes that is what the mission requires of you. In fact, one of the missions I completed, so I probably shouldn't have reset, was do 20 of those in a single run, which was actually ludicrously difficult. You can, however, get a height boost from clipping the top of boulders. Careful, however, because if you clip a boulder in the side, that's also called crashing. You can, if you're very good and very careful, collect those. From the middle of the air, and there we see what happens when you're just slightly too low in coming up to one of the spheres. If you can hit the top surface, you get lift. If you hit the side, you're dead. So let's give this another go. It's quite addictive. It's a very short segment. Oh, we've unlocked the upgrade now, so we get multipliers based on how many of the triangles we get, and we diminish the multipliers by clipping things, not quite crashing into them. Any of the sort of wing clips you get without dying will reduce your multiplier. So there's a 2. I've no doubt I will clip something at some point and you'll see the multiplier go down. That literally just increases your score though, it doesn't help your survivability any. In fact, it may make it more difficult because you're spending the whole time staring at the multiplier. Perfect region, well that basically just means that I didn't crash into anything. And here's a speed boost, pushing the sun upwards, although it does look a lot more like we're just boosting. And there we go, there's the multiplier reset down to 1. It does look more like you're boosting, and in doing that, catching the sun rather than reversing time as the menu seems to imply. Whether that's a miscommunication with the design team or what, I don't know. Right, again, careful with the solar power. You don't want to slow down too much either because you won't make full regions. It's just a fairly simple, easy to use game. I've no doubt there must be a mobile version of this because it would be so suited for motion controls. You tilt the controller left and right and steer between the objects. Now while that is actually incredibly helpful, that speed boost, it won't last all that long, unfortunately. Because the sun is setting quite urgently. We may just beat this region before we run out of time. Yes, no? We're not quite running out of energy just yet. One of the difficulties is that the draw distance, in this region at least, as the sun's setting, is significantly reduced, and that makes it much harder to maneuver. But there we go, we're up to level, we're now level 4, pickup is available. And we've unlocked 2 new missions. Clear 2 regions in a round, travel a distance of 15,000 meters, or whatever it is, maybe miles, who knows, and clear 2 regions with no collisions in 1 round. Well, that shouldn't be too difficult. I say shouldn't, not won't. I'm not overly confident. Now, I don't think that counts as a collision. If only we got a bonus for doing flips in the air. Oh well. Now, taking care to avoid... Now this is a jump power up. This means at the last moment, if we are going to crash into a low object, we can jump over it instead, which is really useful. However, not totally useful because it jumps you directly upwards, so if it's a tall object like a tower, you're still screwed. So if you can get the wingtip sparking, you can then roll over, which is important if they ask you to do so. Thank you, random bird. Very helpful there. I'm not sure what the significance of the birds is supposed to be, whether it is some kind of symbolism or just they like having seagulls provide you power-ups. Wow, that actually worked. Using a jump to get back into the height that the sun was illuminating really helped. See, I'm not sure. Is that actually raising the sun and reversing time? That may just be. That may be what we're doing. Perfect region. See if we can't collect some of these, shall we? Nope. And the bonus is a jump. Ooh, rockets. Trying to stay in the light. Oh, nope, straight into one of the blades. Well, that one was on me. Level 5, magnet, right. This will probably be the last thing I want to unlock at least. Basically it means that you can collect... Wow, did a lot there. Level 6, many things you can only be earned. Right, now we can configure the ship and equip the magnet. That basically means that you don't actually have to touch or get touched too close to power-ups to actually pick them up, including the pyramids, which is really useful. So for example, these, you can still pick up the first one, because you've got a magnet. I do like the fact that they extend very high, so we can pick them up from the sky. Graphical aesthetic is sparse, but that actually makes it easier to navigate. I think if everything was sort of beautifully textured, it would be much harder to make out the break of shapes. Instead, you've got simple flat edges, and then the shadows defining not only where you can and can't go. Wow, that helped. The shadows define not only where you can and can't go, but also show you where objects are coming up, because we're racing towards the sun. Oopsie, there goes my multiplier. Didn't go all the way down to 0 this time. That's actually a bonus. Quite lucky, in fact. Oh, should have jumped. Well, as you can see, that is sort of exemplifies the game. It runs over and over. It's quite good. It reminds me of sort of Temple Run-esque mobile games where you play over and over just to try and get as far as possible to see and unlock as much as possible. Especially with the leveling system. I mean, that has been in all sorts of games. Jetpack Joyride, for example, exemplifies using that. Punch Quest as well. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, you can let me know in the comments, or you can tweet at me. If you follow me on Twitter, that is where most of my videos get announced. You can also subscribe if you want to see videos pop up on your feed. You can like or dislike this video as well to let me know what you thought. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you next time.